This is not an easy one to make. None of them are in reality. Because you have to do the video right. You have to make sure the lighting is right, the mood is right, all that goodness. So I set up my Cash App. I said I would do this by Labor Day. I wanted to wait until after the fucking holiday just to do it. Because I wanted everyone to have a good Labor Day, not think about anything. Because you should not. But now it's the day after Labor Day, and we're all going back to work or going back to school. You got kids going back to school. Actually, they should have been back to school in August, since I now know that they have like 2 months and not 3 months vacation. I haven't been a kid in a long time. Now, when I was younger, I would get like $3 allowance. Then I would get $5 allowance, then 10, then $20. And I remember when I was 18 years old, I would get $40 allowance. 18 years old. And I had never worked a real job until I was about, I would say, 27. Technically, it was actually when I was 23. So let's go back to 2001, months before the towers fell. I worked at my sister's, job. Her job was to do payroll for a film editing company. Their job was to edit what they were told to edit. So you had big budget movies, medium budget movies, small budget movies, and so I would just do counting files, organizing file folders. It was just alphabetizing, and I believe I was paid the minimum wage. So maybe it was like what, 7 to 8? No, not even that. It was like $6 to $7 an hour. I do believe the minimum wage was like six something, and then it increased to like $7 or so in the mid 2000s. So I worked there for about a week. It wasn't much. My actual first part-time job was working in the swap meet in Azusa before APU University, before Azusa Pacific University. So Citrus College, APU, that's where I worked, but I didn't get paid. That was for me to sort of quote unquote earn my keep, my weird quotation marks there, to work hard to uh, go to an all boys school and work hard and do what I'm supposed to do. So it sort of earned my keep to stay in an all boys school that I didn't really want to go to anyway. I was like, the decisions were made for me because when you're a kid, you got to do what you're told. Okay, so eventually, my own first part time job was working at Sears and Roebuck warehousing for about a week and a half, about 10 days, and they were only 10 days or 10 business days, but they were the most memorable times working there. 8 hour shifts, okay, and I would work from like 4 o'clock to like midnight, I think, every night. We had lunch trucks we had access to, so you really couldn't go anywhere. You had to stay really within the grounds, and that was hard. And I think I worked. I'll move that little icon. So it was the fact that I worked hard doing the things I was doing, and it was 2005. I was supposed to do building and grounds worker, but I didn't make it to take the test on time, and I missed important information. And I screwed up my own test. I screwed up my own test. I screwed up working at Sears and Roebuck because the physical labor got to be too much. I did two different jobs there, and the second job required me to pull pallet jacks, 300 pounds worth of things to pull. Okay, so you better bet your mama's asshole, whatever you're doing to it, that I was working my ass. I was really working hard doing things. And I don't have my pay stubs anymore, but I I think it was minimum wage there too. Worked at minimum wage doing Sears and Roebuck. The first boss, David Savala, was a nice guy. And I didn't write a fan fiction. I wrote a fiction, I published a book that had him as a character. So I thought he was a nice guy. Wasn't the nicest guy in the world, but he was polite enough. The second person didn't even look at me, didn't even really talk to me. Now maybe because people could say, "Hey, if you're going to quit this job, why should she get to know her employees?" But I'm thinking, if she looked at her employees and talked to them, maybe they would stay. It's those half full, half empty things, motherfuckers. It's like that's the way this glass is. So I didn't stay at the second time. The first time I worked for 10 business days. The second time I worked for 1 day because I quit on the spot. This guy was a complete idiot. Didn't hear me, didn't pay attention to me. Hard job. A lot of pulling, a lot of hard labor. So I didn't stay too long at that job. Leaving jobs. And in 2006, I worked at Togo's Sandwiches. And it really depended on white money. A lot of white people coming out of their cubicle jobs to come and get sandwiches. It was a hard job. I worked for 3 months. Didn't work beyond the probation. Quit in May. Worked at McDonald's. I worked at Speedy's McDonald's, the one that Michael Keaton did he filmed a scene there for the founder, right? McDonald's. So he did a scene there at night. It was a very quick scene, and I worked there from May to September of '06, working that 7.25 an hour. Then I didn't do any kind of job. Well, actually, let's see. I didn't do any kind of job for 5 years. I worked at the Census Bureau for the government for 2010 as the enumerator, and it was a shitty job as well. I worked there for about a few months, probably under half a year, and I worked nothing else save for volunteer work, working for free for many years. I did surveys for my hospital, or not surveys. I did studies. I did studies for new medication. Made a few $1,000 total for all that, and then every once in a while you get a freebie. Somebody gives you $100. I know one woman did because I had published my book and I worked hard, and she knew I was struggling. Other times it was somebody who gave me a 20. Freebies every once in a while. Okay. As a lot of people now tell you, hard work isn't enough. Hard work gets you something, but hard work does not get you everything. And anybody that tells you that is very foolish. My own father told me that. All you need is that piece of paper because you need that diploma and they'll give you everything. No, that's not how it works. I made it to the goal of the goalpost, and the goalpost got fucking moved. So what you gotta tell me? That it's all about my diploma? Nope. My diploma is toilet paper. So went from that, and then at some point, let's see, I'm going on here. At some point, 2010, 2015, I didn't get any real work until after the pandemic. So after I worked at Universal Studios for about 10 months, okay, 9 to 10 months, okay, there was a month of orientation. I quit after 10 months. They pushed me way too hard. They knew they were, okay? It was a blue-collar job. It wasn't going to get me much of anywhere. By this time, it was about 15 an hour. So the minimum wage had doubled. I was like Rip Van Winkle, going from 2010 to 2021, and it's been over a year since I worked any job. Now, do I really want to go back to a blue-collar job? No. The only job I told myself over and over again, now, there were two kind of jobs that I could have gone back to. I could have applied for Target for the holidays. I decided not to. The reason why I said no was because if I ever wanted to shop at Target, I don't want it to be because, hey, I quit this job a long time ago and I have to now run to my coworkers at these Targets. Because there's a Target 2 cities away north, and there's a Target 2 cities to the east. Okay, so there's a north Target and an east Target, and I did not want anyone to see me there if I left on bad terms. So as much as that sounds like negative talk, it really is a practical thing for me to be not wanting to quit Target for any real reason. Mostly them treating me like shit, hypothetically or likely. And the other place I could have worked at was the library. But the problem was, like, Alhambra rejected my application. I tried to apply for like many jobs, including substitute teacher, but I had no business doing that. I have no business doing jobs that I'm not specializing in, like Best Buy, working in tech. I don't have any business doing that. Hey, you like video games? Yeah, but I have to be a tech wizard here. I have to know how video games work, and I have to pitch people games or systems that, if there's something wrong with it or there's something wrong with the deal, I still have to sell it to you anyway. I have to be a good businessman. I have to get you to buy the product, and I'm not that skilled. I don't have those kinds of people skills. So here I am, and I find that although I tried to get a library job since 2006, I tried different cities, and that was the library aide. Assistant to a librarian was the only one I felt qualified for, and I couldn't get it. So here I am at this point, and now, oh, these motherfuckers and their fucking car horns. Because, hey, where you at? Bouncing my head side to side, teeth sticking out, oh, see you. Are you filming a YouTube channel? Go fuck your mother's asshole. Oh, is she screaming? Why I think we're all a bunch of dumb wetbacks out in the fucking ghetto. Anyway, where was I before I was rudely interrupted? Is he going to interrupt me again? So here I am at this point, and I want to make something perfectly clear, okay? Because push came to shove, and I said that I am more of an artist, I am more of a writer, I am more of a creator, content creator, than anything else I've ever done in my entire life. The number one thing I ask from everyone is your time. Your time to talk to me, your time to or at least a comment that's civil, okay? Not a comment that's shitty. There was somebody who left a comment saying that Lady Slither would probably send me to hell. I'm not offended by it. Lady Slither's evil, so maybe she would send me to hell. But I don't know if hell exists on Eternia, so maybe it's not a good comment. As long as you're civil and as long as you're not dogpiling me or the equivalent of gangbanging me, because whenever I see more than 2 or 3 comments at a given time, I know people are trying to gangbang me or dogpile me. It's like, that's not giving an opinion. You're just being an asshole at that point. And I'd rather you just give me your money instead of giving me your time. So the number one thing I ask from just about everybody who's been civil, who's given thumbs up, who's watched more than like 10 seconds of if you've watched more than 5 minutes of this video, then I know that you're not just like, oh, this is boring. Next, please, a next video. I can't stand this. Right? If you're like that, that's great because you've given me your time. And even though you can't give me your money because you got debts to pay, grandma's sick, grandma needs a new pair of shoes, you got to get the kids school materials. And by the way, $5 for Cash App to give anything is the minimum that is required. Okay? So maybe you can save up that $5. Remember, this is not $5 a month. This is not $5 a week. This is not $5 every 2 months. This is $5 whenever you feel like it. Okay? This is $5 whenever you're able to. Whenever you are able to help me. Anything more is anything more. It's a luxury. But the number one cock thing I ask, the biggest cock thing I ever ask from anyone is your time. Give me your time, listen to me, watch me. I've never wanted to come off like Mega J Retro or Pixel Dan or Pat the NES Punk or average angry video game nerd or Stephen Williams, Boogie, to be this bigger than life person. I'm just a guy that I don't care about the corporations. I don't care about being whitelisted on things I like, Nintendo, Sega, or otherwise, because I swear, and I'm going to swear, I'm going to talk shit, but also too, I'm always going to point out the positives and negatives of what a company does, and that's fine. Okay, if a corporation out there agrees with me of who I am, okay. The only thing you can never do is if you're sponsoring a product and you're whitelisted, you should never talk bad about a product to dissuade something. Now, I'll say if there's something wrong with something, if something should be recalled, that's hypothetical though. But ultimately, I'm just the guy that you see at the bar. You see, you're going to a bar. It's not too bad of a bar. It's not too high maintenance. There aren't pretty girls at the bar. There's just guys, and maybe there's a couple of females, but it's mostly a male. It's a sausage party. We're not there to be that friendly. But we come out from a hard day of work. You come out of 9 to 5. Maybe you've had a family disagreement. Maybe you've had a disagreement with your wife, and you're here to see what I'm doing. You're here to see what I'm up to. We got beer, we got peanuts, or maybe a hard lemonade, tropical fruit beer. I'm okay with that. Um, you know, we come from a hard day of work. We got some beef jerky, we got beer, and we just talk shit about things. That's what we're doing. That's what this is all about. And I'll tell stories formally, and then informally, I'll talk about whatever's going on. And that's it. So on my Cash App is my birth identity. I really don't go by that because my father went by that name. And more importantly, he was an abusive man. So I've always had psychological issues with it. And I want people to show me the same respect that I would show you. Yes, correct. So that's that one. So I'm going to put the link to my Cash App in the description. I'm going to put an extra step. And from this point forward, I'm going to probably ask once a week. I don't want to ask all the time. I don't want to nag. At this point right now, I'm not even close to being monetized on YouTube. But every time you tell your friends, every time you tell people, and it helps me get monetized, then YouTube pays me. And you don't have to do shit. But until then, this is what I'm doing. I'm asking the people first. And not only my Cash App, but my P.O. Box as well. This looks like my old P.O. Box setup from a long time ago. I had one in Montebello. But I will put down my P.O. Box if you want to send money. If you want to send anything, you send me shit, I will report you. I don't give a damn. You motherfuckers think you're smart, you know. But no, but be polite, be kind, and be respectful. I have given out my P.O. Box before. And I'm going to be on my Cash App. And I'm going to just nag you all once a week. Whoever, pay your debts first. Pay your debts. Pay your, whoever you got to pay for the utilities, and then pay me. You know, if you're done spending on luxuries, give me a little bit. Think of it this way. You're not treating me as a charity case. You're investing in me to be a better YouTuber. Maybe there's a new product you want me to buy. Maybe you do want me to buy a PS5. Maybe you do want me to buy an Xbox Series X. Maybe you do want something, you know, get another television. Like, okay, can you buy this new TV and then just review it on YouTube? I'm like, okay, I could do that. I mean, even if the end result is that you're spending money on me to invest in me to do something for you. And no, unlike Boogie spending badly, okay, I'm not here to help you. You're not here to bail me out of any bad situation. That's for me. I have to be a man and face my own bad. But at the same time, it is tough for me. I want to be able to run on my own fumes and not have to go to my family for help because I have to go to them a lot. And my life has been that I have had no friends and no one to give a damn. And you could sit there and troll me with your stupid comments. But until you're in my situation, shut the fuck up, get off the keyboard, be AFK, and just listen and understand why I'm in the situation that I'm in, and then I'm asking what I'm asking. And when you're a YouTuber and you want help, and you're not monetized, and you're not qualified to be monetized, let me see you not put your dick in your mouth when you have to be asking people for help too. So that's it. That's all the bullshits and the governs and all that stuff I'm asking from you. Cash App link is in the description, as well as my P.O. Box, and I'll only be asking once a week. You know where all the stuff is. Just to keep an eye out for it. I don't want to be asking all the time. And I hope I can get to a point where I am monetized and I don't have to ask all the time. But there it is. All right. If you like this video, you know what to do. And if you don't like it, well, do me a favor, pretend you never saw me.